I'm Sarah Coates. Thanks for joining me. We begin in Israel as the country celebrates its 71st anniversary with parties on the beach, in parks and on rooftops across the country. Now, every year, the Israel Air Force organises a special flyover event to celebrate the country's Independence Day. Different fighter planes fly over the Israeli skies from the north to the south, doing acrobatics, manoeuvres and other exciting stunts. This year, the Israel Air Force will also honour residents of the Gaza border communities with a special flyover to mark Israel's birthday. The IDF says the flyover was an expression of gratitude for the firm stand that the residents showed during the past few days of fighting and throughout the years. And our correspondent Eilon Levy has more on the history of celebrations in Israel.
First there was hope, then terror, then paralysis. In 1993, Israel signed the Oslo Accords with the PLO, hoping the terror organization was serious about peace, a deal giving the Palestinians control over their own population areas in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, pulling Israeli troops out of the towns, the first step towards a future peace treaty. Times were changing. Jordan made its own peace with Israel. Hopes the new Middle East was around the corner. Then the Prime Minister was shot. Yitzhak Rabin murdered at a peace rally in Tel Aviv by a religious extremist who said he was acting on God's orders to stop the peace process. Palestinian terror group Hamas also vowed to sabotage the accords, blowing up buses in Tel Aviv in a wave of terror. Israelis got cold feet. In 1996, they elected Benjamin Netanyahu, a young right-wing leader who led protests against Rabin's peace efforts. But the withdrawal from the West Bank continued. In 2000, a bid to end the Arab-Israeli conflict at Camp David, the Palestinians rejected Israel's proposal for a Palestinian state. The talks collapsed, the situation exploded. Over 1,000 Israelis murdered in a wave of suicide bombings. Israel responded by taking back the West Bank towns and building a security barrier. Hardline leader Ariel Sharon wanted Israel out of the Gaza Strip. He split his own party to pull back Israeli settlers and soldiers out of the Palestinian enclave. The experiment collapsed. In 2006, Islamist group Hamas won the Palestinian legislative elections. In 2007, it overthrew its rival Fatah in Gaza in a coup. Rockets were still being fired from Gaza to Ashkelon, Ashdod, then Tel Aviv. Israel blockaded the Strip and was sucked into 3 bloody rounds of conflict. Operation Cast Lead, Operation Pillar of Defense, Operation Protective Edge. Building an Iron Dome missile system to blow rockets out of the sky, releasing over 1,000 Palestinian prisoners for one abducted Israeli soldier. Israel ended its occupation of southern Lebanon in the millennium, but in 2006, a second Lebanon war, a conflict against Lebanese Shiite militia Hezbollah, rockets raining down on northern Israel, troops pushing into Lebanon. A year later, a daring secret raid to destroy Syria's nuclear weapons program. Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert tried to negotiate a peace deal with the Palestinians. It didn't work, and the United Nations gave the Palestinians non-member state status. Olmert went to jail for corruption, joining former President Moshe Katsav jailed for rape. Meanwhile, Jewish settlements continue to grow in the West Bank, the occupation deepening.
I'd like to welcome you again to
Another peace push under President Obama ended in failure. The Arab Spring exploded around Israel, bringing down the regime in Egypt and dragging Syria into now 7 years of civil war. Iran drawing closer to Israel's border. A spree of Palestinian stabbing and car ramming attacks. And still the Israeli economy grew, a hub of creativity and innovation, generating world-changing startups.
Now, in reactions from around the world, Russian President Vladimir Putin sent congratulatory messages to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Reuven Rivlin for Israel's 71st Independence Day. According to the Kremlin, Putin hailed Israeli-Russian ties and said that he believed the countries could continue to work closely together. The statement also says Putin told the Israeli leaders that Moscow will make additional efforts to reach a fair, comprehensive settlement in the region and is committed to guaranteeing Israel's security and future development. And let's go back to these celebrations now here in Israel, and our correspondent Emily Francis is standing by in a park in Tel Aviv. Emily, looks like you're having a lot of fun there, and I'm sure those people behind you are too. Tell me, what sort of a feeling you're getting there today in Tel Aviv?
Well, you know, it's just obviously, hello, first of all, very festive. It's kind of, believe it or not, dying out a little bit. People have been here throughout the day, but it's starting to get a little chilly. Everybody, I would say, as far as the eye can see, people are here celebrating. They have very big families. This is something that is so much fun about Israel. There's so much warmth, and I have a skewer of chicken, which I couldn't hold at the same time as the microphone, but people came and brought us food, like wanting to feed us, and this is the atmosphere of Yom Ha'atzmaut here. This is the family, actually, the ones you met about an hour ago. People are playing music, they're having fun. These guys over here have become my friends. They're actually from India. Half Moroccan, half Indian, so they have influences of both places. This was, say hi. They don't all speak English, but this was Grandma, right? Safta? Right. Safta. Are you from Hodu? She's from India. How cool is this? Only in Israel. So they're a beautiful family. I've eaten a lot of food. I wish I had extras to bring back for you in the studio, but I'm sure you guys are just doing fine in Jaffa, right?
Well, no, actually, we're just thinking about what we're going to have. So if you have any extra chicken, please bring it back. And Emily, tell me, how is how do the celebrations differ? You originally come from America. So what's the differences in the celebrations in the US and here in Israel?
Sorry, I'm looking like this because their music is blasting so loudly. You know, I was just thinking about it. You know, I'm wearing my little Israeli flag and thinking about, you know, as an American, as someone grew up with such a strong tradition of 4th of July and being here and why it's so unique and special and colorful in its own way. In the States, people celebrate, they have fireworks, but it's not as loud in public places. You don't feel the barbecues in the middle of parks quite as much, and families just aren't this big. It's not that often in the States. These people are all related. They're all related. Do you have a family like that?
Me? No. But, you know, everyone in Australia knows everybody, apparently. So, Emily, you're down there at the park. Tell me...
Did you ask me a question? I can't hear.
What other celebrations are going on there today?
How did it begin early this day? Is that what you asked me?
No. Emily, we might leave you there. You're having a little bit of trouble hearing, but enjoy the rest of the time there, and don't forget that chicken. Now, as Israelis mark their Independence Day, the sound of paddleball being played on beaches is as much of a party of the celebratory noise as a crackle of fireworks. Now, Israelis consider the game called matkot, from the Hebrew word for paddle, as their unofficial national sport. Let's take a listen.
Matkot is an Israeli product, a product that's fun to play with. Whenever you go in the summer, you will hear the matkot. In all the beaches, you will hear the sound of it, and if you are not careful, you can also get hit by a ball. It's from the 70s. It's an Israeli product. Matkot is Israel.
There's no points, there's no ratings, there's no winning. It's just a fun game of, passing the ball from one to the other.
Anyone can play.
And anyone can play it.
And we're going out for a short break, but when we come back, we'll continue with Israel's 71st Independence Day and meet a very special person. Stay with us.